If you eat an avocado and threw that brown pit into the bin, stop immediately. You are tossing out 70% of the fruit's nutritional value and robbing your body of a daily energy reserve. If you are over 50 and wake up with heavy legs or mid-afternoon brain fog, pay close attention. Research from Penn State University reveals a powerful biological secret. This seed holds a concentrated vault of polyphenols, acting like a biological spark plug for tired cells. It clears cellular waste and supports a calm gut lining. But eating it raw triggers severe stomach cramps and blocks vital mineral absorption. Stay with me. At the end of this video, I will show you the exact 2-minute preparation method to safely neutralize its defensive chemicals and unlock its power. Think of your cells like tiny biological engines that have been running non-stop for decades. When you were in your 20s, these engines ran perfectly clean. They burned food for fuel and left almost no residue behind. Your body produced its own internal antioxidants to easily sweep any exhaust away, making your cellular engines practically self-cleaning. But as we cross the threshold of 50, this changes. This natural self-cleaning mechanism dramatically slows down. When your older cells burn dietary fuel today, they produce a microscopic, invisible exhaust. In human biology, we call this exhaust free radicals. Over time, this daily exhaust builds up inside your tissues, creating a destructive physiological state known as oxidative stress. This is not a disease. It is simply the biological wear and tear of living a long life. But if this invisible exhaust settles heavily in your muscle tissues and brain cells, your internal engines begin to stall. The exhaust clings to the cellular walls, creating a thick microscopic sludge that restricts oxygen delivery. You feel physically exhausted before the day has even begun. Your joints feel incredibly stiff in the morning. You feel perpetually drained even after 8 solid hours of sleep, wondering why your usual cup of coffee no longer works. The avocado seed contains highly specialized plant compounds called procyanidins. Think of these specific microscopic compounds as high-powered industrial exhaust fans. They change everything. When they enter your bloodstream, they rapidly clear this suffocating cellular smog right out of your system. They sweep away the accumulated free radicals that are weighing down your muscles. This allows your body to finally generate clean, steady, uninterrupted energy throughout the entire day. I see this exact scenario all the time in my daily practice. People over 50 come in complaining of a deep, unexplained chronic fatigue that shadows their every move. They spend hundreds of pounds on synthetic vitamin supplements that do absolutely nothing. They drink 3 cups of strong black coffee before noon just to function. This is a massive mistake. You are just putting a temporary plaster over a deep cellular problem. You cannot stimulate an engine that is choking on its own exhaust. You need to clear the smog first, and you need to support your body's natural waste removal system. That is exactly what the compounds inside the avocado seed are designed to do. They provide the precise raw materials your liver desperately needs to sweep out the rubbish. But why does the seed hold all this incredible power? It comes down to pure evolutionary genius. The true biological purpose of that heavy brown pit is not just to grow a new tree in the damp soil. It is the plant's ultimate impenetrable chemical armor. Think about the wild environments where these ancient trees originally evolved. They had to survive scorching droughts and freezing winters. The avocado tree could not simply run away from danger. It had to stand its ground and fight a chemical war against foraging animals and aggressive insects. It engineered this heavy brown pit to be an absolute fortress of defense, packing the core with such a high concentration of polyphenols that nothing could penetrate its shell. It leaves almost nothing for the flesh. To achieve this incredible feat of endurance, the plant aggressively hoards the vast majority of its highly protective antioxidants directly inside the seed. It leaves only a tiny, insignificant fraction of nutrients for the soft, delicious green part that we all love to eat. Eating only the green flesh is exactly like buying a premium, high-performance sports car and immediately throwing away the engine. You get the healthy, joint-lubricating fats from the green part. That is great for your joints,
but you completely miss the core metabolic driving force that actually propels your daily vitality forward. Many older adults struggle daily with unexplained fatigue simply because they are missing these exact, highly concentrated nutrients. Modern diets are highly processed and incredibly soft. We throw away the best parts. We routinely discard the most nutrient-dense parts of our natural foods, like the tough skins, the fibrous stems, and the dense seeds. We have completely forgotten how to extract the true biological value from whole, unprocessed foods. But here is what nobody tells you about this powerful seed. You cannot just eat it like an apple. It fights back. The seed contains highly active, incredibly aggressive defensive compounds designed to punish anything that eats it raw. If you use it incorrectly, it will instantly bind to your vital iron reserves and lock up your calcium.
I will give you the exact safe microdosage in a few minutes so you get all the vitality benefits. First, let us look at the blender mistake. We urgently need to talk about tannins and phytic acid. Think of these naturally occurring plant compounds as microscopic chemical barbed wire. The seed uses them specifically to stop wild animals from eating it fresh off the tree. It is a brilliant defense mechanism. If you blindly consume the seed wet and raw, this invisible barbed wire acts exactly like coarse sandpaper on your delicate gut lining. It causes immediate microscopic inflammation, severe digestive distress, and painful bloating. Worse, the phytic acid acts as a relentless biological thief. It steals from you. It actively leaches essential bone-building minerals like calcium and energy-carrying iron right out of your flowing bloodstream. This leaves you feeling significantly more fatigued, weak, and depleted than before you even ate it. This is why following random internet smoothie recipes can be so dangerous. Stop doing this immediately. The biological secret to safely bypassing this ancient, stubborn defense system is profound, complete dehydration. Drying the seed completely breaks down and shatters this sharp chemical barbed wire. It miraculously transforms a harsh gut irritant into a deeply soothing health supporter. Imagine a 58-year-old man making his morning shake. He carelessly throws a wet, whole avocado seed straight into a high-speed blender, hoping for a quick health boost. Not only does he permanently blunt his expensive steel blades, but 2 hours later he is dealing with severe stomach cramps at his desk. Why did this happen? Because the raw tannins shocked his digestive tract. Tell me in the comments, have you ever made this mistake? Drying the seed is absolutely non-negotiable for your long-term gut health. I have seen countless individuals end up with terrible trapped wind simply because they thought raw was always better. Raw is not always better when it comes to plant defenses. Sometimes raw is a fast track to severe indigestion. Beyond the powerful life-extending antioxidants, this dehydrated core holds another fascinating biological secret. It is densely packed with a very specific, highly beneficial type of complex soluble fiber. When this unique fiber enters your warm, acidic stomach, it undergoes a protective process called viscous gelation. Think of it as a soothing internal sponge. It rapidly expands and softens in your gut, creating a thick, protective barrier. Let us dive deeper into exactly what happens inside your gut when this gel forms. As we age, our intestinal lining can become highly sensitive and prone to microscopic inflammation, often referred to as leaky gut. The soothing gel acts like a cooling blanket. It glides slowly and smoothly through your winding intestines, giving your digestive tract the vital resting time it needs to naturally repair itself. It physically mops up dangerous excess cholesterol waste along the way. But its most vital job happens right after you eat a meal. It firmly traps rogue dietary sugars. It catches these fast-acting carbohydrates before they can ever hit your delicate bloodstream and cause chaos. This brilliant, natural mechanism completely prevents those sudden, exhausting blood sugar spikes. Let me give you a very relatable, concrete example of how this affects your day. Imagine eating 2 slices of white toast with jam for breakfast. Within 30 minutes, your blood sugar rockets upwards, giving you a sudden, artificial rush of nervous energy. But by 11 o'clock in the morning, your system crashes completely. You feel physically shaky, your brain fog returns, and you cannot concentrate on simple tasks. You desperately reach for a sugary biscuit. Now, imagine sprinkling a tiny amount of prepared avocado seed powder over a simple bowl of morning porridge. The soluble fiber instantly forms that thick protective gel inside your stomach. It deliberately slows down the release of the carbohydrates into your blood. Your blood sugar rises gently. It stays perfectly level and stable for hours on end. You do not get the sudden spike, and you absolutely do not get the exhausting mid-morning crash. You create a steady, unshakable foundation of daily energy. This is how you support long-term metabolic health. It is not about restrictive, miserable dieting or starving yourself. It is about adding smart, functional, biological fibers to the normal meals you already enjoy eating. But just when you think you have this figured out, there is another critical hurdle. Now that you know exactly how this acts as an internal sponge, you might be very tempted to grate it up and boil it into a hot winter tea. Do not do this under any circumstances. It is a massive, fundamental error. Boiling it destroys everything. The vital, energy-boosting compounds locked within the seed, specifically the complex flavonols, are incredibly heat-sensitive. They are biologically fragile and easily destroyed by extreme, sudden temperature changes. Pouring violently boiling water directly onto freshly grated seed instantly annihilates its active compounds. They simply vanish. The intense, scalding heat permanently denatures the precious antioxidants. It instantly turns a powerful, life-enhancing metabolic activator into useless, bitter-tasting, dead brown dust. You are left blindly drinking dirty brown water with absolutely zero physiological benefit for your tired body. The 80-degree rule is your absolute safeguard here. If you ever decide to use the carefully prepared powder in a warm morning drink, you absolutely must let your kettle sit. Let it rest for at least 5 full minutes after boiling before pouring the water. This slight patient drop in temperature perfectly preserves the fragile microscopic flavonols. It protects the biology. It still effectively releases their active supportive properties into the warm liquid without burning them alive. It is a tiny, seemingly effortless adjustment that yields massive, undeniable biological returns for your daily vitality. Let us walk through exactly how this looks in a real kitchen. You wake up and flick the kettle on. It clicks off, but you do not pour it yet. You go and get dressed, letting the water calm down and the harsh steam dissipate. By the time you come back to the kitchen, the temperature has dropped safely to around 80 degrees Celsius. Now it is perfectly safe to use. You can pour it over your prepared powder, add a slice of fresh lemon, and stir in a small spoonful of raw honey. This creates a deeply soothing, gut-friendly morning tonic that actually works. But remember, I promised to show you a critical nuance about how your body absorbs this. The temperature trap is only half the battle. Even if you perfectly protect the golden powder from boiling water, your stubborn digestive system will still aggressively reject 50% of the critical nutrients. It will flush them away, unless you pair the powder with a very specific, highly necessary dietary catalyst. Let us look at the only biological way to guarantee your body actually absorbs these compounds. The powerful restorative antioxidants locked deeply inside the cellular walls of the seed are highly lipophilic. In plain, simple English, this simply means they are intensely, undeniably fat-loving. They absolutely cannot dissolve, break down, or absorb in water alone. Water is not enough. Let us look at the fascinating biology of why water fails so miserably here. Water and fat simply do not mix, and your digestive tract is essentially a watery environment. When you drop a fat-loving antioxidant into this watery environment, it clumps together in a panic. It cannot pass through your intestinal walls. It is exactly like trying to push a square peg through a round hole. If you consume the powdered seed with just a plain glass of tap water, it will pass straight through your entire digestive system. It will remain completely unabsorbed, entirely wasted, and eventually flushed away. You must introduce a biological carrier. You must deliberately consume the grated seed with a tiny specific amount of healthy dietary fat. A single small drop of high-quality extra virgin olive oil works perfectly. A small spoonful of rich, full-fat Greek yogurt is also excellent. Think of the fat as an express transport ticket. The moment you introduce a high-quality dietary fat, everything changes. The fat molecules envelop the antioxidants, creating a microscopic protective bubble called a micelle. It safely and securely carries them directly across your intestinal wall and straight into your flowing bloodstream. It is that simple. Once there, they can finally get to work clearing out deep cellular fatigue and easing stiff morning joints. But more is definitely not better here. You must strictly, rigidly follow the precise dosage rule of exactly half a teaspoon of grated seed per day. Do not overdo it. Any more than this tiny, concentrated amount becomes an unnecessary heavy load for your aging liver to process. Half a teaspoon is the absolute golden biological ratio for daily sustained vigor. It is exactly enough to trigger the deep cellular cleanup without ever overwhelming your delicate, complex metabolic pathways. Let me give you 3 concrete, delicious ways to do this correctly. Option 1 is the easiest. Take half a fresh avocado and mash the green flesh on a thick slice of toasted sourdough bread. Sprinkle exactly half a teaspoon of the golden seed powder directly on top of the mash. The avocado fat acts as the perfect carrier. Option 2 is for the morning. Take a small bowl of full-fat Greek yogurt and add a handful of fresh antioxidant-rich blueberries. Stir your precise half teaspoon of powder thoroughly into the thick yogurt. The rich dairy fat transports the nutrients. Option 3 is for lunch. Drizzle a generous tablespoon of cold-pressed olive oil over a warm, hearty chicken and spinach salad. Toss the golden powder directly into the oily dressing before pouring it over the leaves. The olive oil does all the heavy lifting. Never eat the powder dry and never eat it completely fat-free, or you're simply wasting your time. Now that you understand the exact biology of how this works, we can finally talk about the preparation. Here is the exact foolproof 2-minute method to safely and permanently unlock this hidden power. First, thoroughly wash the fresh, slippery seed under cold running water to remove all the green flesh. Dry it completely with a clean paper towel. Leave it sitting on a warm, bright, sunny windowsill for 3 to 4 consecutive days. Patience is key here. You will know it is perfectly biologically ready when the thin, papery outer skin naturally dries up and flakes off. The seed itself will feel completely rock-hard to the touch, almost like a heavy stone. Next, take a fine, sharp metal cheese grater. Carefully and slowly grate the hardened seed. It will easily shave down into a coarse, fibrous, beautiful golden powder. Tell me in the comments, how do you usually prepare your healthy morning meals? Now for the final, absolutely crucial biological secret that most people miss entirely when doing this at home. Place the freshly grated powder in a completely dry, clean frying pan. Do not add any oil or butter to the pan. Turn your kitchen stove to a very low, gentle heat and toast the powder for exactly 2 minutes. Keep it moving constantly with a wooden spoon so it does not catch or burn. This step is vital. This light, gentle, deliberate toasting completely neutralizes any remaining stubborn traces of irritating phytic acid. It also beautifully unlocks an incredibly rich, earthy, nutty flavor that enhances absolutely any meal you add it to. Let the powder cool completely on a cold ceramic plate. Store this precious golden powder correctly. Keep it in a tightly sealed glass jar in a dark, cool kitchen cupboard, far away from direct sunlight. Direct sunlight and heat will slowly degrade the fragile polyphenols over time, ruining your hard work. A single average-sized seed will give you enough prepared powder to easily last for an entire week. It is a simple, calming Sunday afternoon ritual. It costs absolutely nothing, yet it provides immense biological value. You are taking what most people consider useless food waste and transforming it to support your long-term cellular health. Let us look at how easily you can fit this into a normal busy week. You do not need to overhaul your entire diet to feel the benefits. You just need to build a small, consistent daily habit. Consistency is the absolute key to genuine biological change. Taking a massive dose once a month does nothing, but taking a tiny, perfectly measured microdose of half a teaspoon every single day changes everything. Imagine a 60-year-old woman working in a busy office. She constantly struggles with afternoon brain fog and heavy legs. On Monday morning, she stirs half a teaspoon of her prepared toasted powder into her warm porridge. She adds a splash of whole milk, allowing the fat to act as the perfect biological catalyst. By Wednesday, she notices her digestion is remarkably calmer. She does not feel heavily bloated after her lunch. By Friday, she suddenly realizes she has not needed her usual 3 o'clock cup of coffee. Her energy remains steady and clear, and her knees feel noticeably less stiff when she gets out of bed. This is not some sort of overnight magic trick. It is simply consistent, targeted, highly intelligent nutritional support. You are giving your cells the maintenance they desperately need.
If you do not like eating porridge in the morning, simply put it in a warm soup. Consider a 65-year-old man who loves a hearty, warm dinner. He struggles with terrible evening bloating, so he starts adding his strictly measured half teaspoon of toasted powder into his evening stews. The rich, fatty broth of the stew instantly activates the lipophilic compounds. The powder subtly thickens the sauce, adding a gourmet, earthy texture. But more importantly, the viscous fibre goes to work immediately. It slows down his digestion just enough to prevent the heavy, uncomfortable bloating he usually gets after eating meat. He sleeps completely soundly, without waking up at 2 in the morning with an upset stomach. Your gut microbiome will absolutely thank you for this small addition. Your liver will thank you for it. Let us quickly cover some very common mistakes to ensure you get this right every single time. Mistake number 1 is grating far too many seeds at once. Do not grate 5 seeds and try to store the powder for months on end. Freshness is critical. Once the seed is grated, the massive surface area is suddenly exposed to oxygen. Oxidation begins almost immediately, and the beneficial plant compounds slowly begin to degrade and lose their potency. Grate just 1 single seed at a time and use it up within a week. Mistake number 2 is poor storage. Do not store your glass jar right next to the hot oven or the boiling kettle. Ambient heat quickly degrades the sensitive procyanidins. Keep your glass jar tucked safely away in a cool, dark pantry. Mistake number 3 is ignoring your body's signals. Start with just a tiny 1/4 teaspoon for the first 3 days. Let your sensitive digestive system slowly adjust to the introduction of this new, incredibly dense complex fibre. Pay close attention to how your stomach feels after eating it. Listen to your body. If you feel good, have steady energy, and experience no bloating, increase it to the full half teaspoon. Your body will always tell you exactly what it needs if you just listen. Mistake number 4 is using a cheap plastic container for storage. Always use glass. Plastic can slowly leach unwanted chemicals into the active powder over time, especially if your kitchen gets warm during the summer. A simple, thoroughly washed glass jam jar works perfectly for this. Try this simple, deeply supportive routine for just 2 full weeks. Notice exactly how much lighter, sharper, and more physically vigorous your entire body feels by the late afternoon. As the suffocating cellular smog finally clears from your system, your natural, youthful energy will slowly return. You do not have to just accept chronic fatigue and heavy legs as a normal, unavoidable part of getting older.
You just need the right biological tools. This information is strictly educational to support your daily vitality. Never change your doctor's medical treatment without their consent. If this topic interested you, you will love this one too. You've been making green tea wrong. Why adding lemon at 70 degrees Celsius changes everything. Take excellent care of your body, and I will see you next time.